So today I want to talk to you a little bit about the difference between positive and negative. This is a really fundamental, basic concept that is important to understand when discussing the work that I do. And if you do have a reading with me, especially the higher purpose reading, we will definitely go into this a little bit further. So the difference between positive and negative is pretty basic. Positive is anything that's moving forward, it's evolving, it's growing. So when it comes to positive thoughts, these are thoughts that are helping you to move forward and evolve. When it comes to positive relationships, these are relationships that are helping you move forward and evolve. So on the contrary, negative isn't necessarily anything that's kind of pulling you back or really dragging you down. It definitely can be, but at the very least, negative is something that isn't moving forward. Where positive is aligning the self to light, to the divine, negative is the absence of light, absence of divine. So where positive souls are continuously connecting themselves to divine source or God or whatever you want to call it, and they're moving forward to continuously align their actions, their thoughts, their beliefs with that higher positive purpose, negative souls are not doing that anymore. So I often describe it as a walk in the woods or a walk up the mountain. Positive souls are continuously looking to go forward, continue up that trail. Negative souls hit a point and they're just kind of happy where they are, and they decide they're going to sit down and just hang out where they are. They got off the treadmill, they're done. They don't want to continue to evolve. It's really important to remember, though, that positive souls aren't necessarily moving leaps and bounds in their lives. They aren't necessarily movers and shakers in their lives, but they are continuously making decisions to help take the motion forward. They also aren't necessarily the happiest, kindest, best people in the world either. That's completely different. A soul's level of evolution is not necessarily the same as how good of a person you are. Similarly, as a negative soul, that doesn't necessarily mean that you're a bad person. I've met several negative souls that are really good people, but they're just not really moving forward. They aren't looking to evolve much further than where they are. That doesn't mean that they're not developing themselves with where they are, but it does mean that they're not really looking to expand themselves at all. So, knowing this then, negative souls have made the conscious decision to disconnect from source. That means that they no longer choose to receive the power that all positive souls receive, that sense of divinity, that sense of God spark, knowing that you have the energy and the support of God within you. They kind of disconnected themselves from that. That doesn't mean that they don't go to church every weekend, but it does mean that they are no longer receiving that internal boost of understanding that they are divine. They have chosen to kind of disconnect from that. For that reason, a lot of negative souls tend to latch on to individuals around them because they are no longer really able to create the power within themselves to live a really empowered, incredible life. They tend to need to rely on other people to do that. It's like they have cut the umbilical cord from source in receiving all that energy. So they need to receive it from those around them. So they tend to stick with other people around them, which can be sometimes very draining to the individuals around them. So continuing with the idea of negative versus positive, like I said, negative thoughts, negative actions, negative relationships, these are all things that aren't helping you move forward. And the importance of understanding that is to remember that there are a lot of negative things that might be affecting you, but you might not even realize it because it's not that big of a deal, but it is because it's not helping you move forward. So that's so important to remember, that just because it isn't causing harm doesn't mean it isn't negative. If there is a friend in your life that doesn't really do any harm, but each and every day doesn't really help you move forward either, that is a negative relationship. Similarly, any thoughts that are not helping you to move forward, not helping you to really feel like you can do absolutely anything in the world, those are negative thoughts. They don't need to be destructive or violent or unkind in order to be considered negative. So kind of knowing that, take account of what's going on in your life. If you're not where you want to be in your life, it might be a really good time to stop and kind of examine the habits, the thoughts that go through your head on a daily basis, the words that come out of your mouth, the friends that you have, the people in your life that have an effect on you. How many of them are negative? How many of them are not pushing you forward in the direction of your dreams? Every single time you permit those people, those thoughts, those actions to have an effect on you, you are therefore engaging with that negativity. It's really simple. It's so simple that we tend to overlook it all the time. A big part of my work as a spiritual coach is to remind people of all these little tiny details in their lives that not necessarily are holding them back, but they're not pushing them forward either. And learning how to redirect their energy, to switch it from the positive to the negative. That doesn't always mean dropping your relationships, dropping your habits, but it does mean kind of looking at them differently, tweaking them, rewording your sentences, rewording your thoughts, reactioning your day to be more positive, to help you move forward. That's why so many people discuss the power of words, because when you put things into a negative context, you are inviting negativity into your life, as opposed to flipping it around and finding the positive context of it. Instead of saying, I'm overweight and I need to lose 20 pounds, thinking of a positive way of embracing it. I want to be healthy. I want to feel good in my skin. Whatever it might be, taking out any of the negative, any of the limiting thoughts, the limiting emotions, the limiting actions, the limiting words, and really reassessing, readdressing your life so that each and every moment is pushing you forward, little by little, because little by little adds up to a whole lot. So assessing everything that's going on and kind of readjusting to take on that positive mentality, that positive outlook.